What was the plot of your version of Alien 3?
Well, I was reading Alien comics at the time, and I'd read about this alien that was called the Procreator. And he was basically like the dad alien. He was the king alien, right?
Wait, he was a king, like the dad alien. So it's just a normal alien who comes home with a rolled up newspaper and a flat cap. We go, what have you been up to today? I've been laying eggs. What have you been doing? Mind your own business, you old cow.
He'd say, I've been down pit all day and you'll be sitting on your arse laying eggs. But yeah, I think our one was the same as a normal alien, except he had a big, thick tail.
I'm quite a fan of the Alien series, generally the Alien franchise. So I've read a lot about what Alien 3 nearly was. Like, it was a wooden planet full of monks.
Yeah.
That's not a rhyming slang.
No.
But the idea... this is not impossible that somebody went in and goes, right, it's exactly the same as the last one, but he's got a slightly thicker tail.
I also like the credit where it says, Alien designed by H.R. Giger for this film, and I'd go, sort of. Because if you've watched the documentary about him coming up with the alien in this, he's like, I think the alien should have tits and big lady lips, kissing lips.
Yeah, designed like the original idea, I suppose.
Yeah. So
what we're going to do is we're going to go a slightly different direction. That direction being we're going to hire someone who's not on fucking glue. Goodbye.
But this was not the period of his good work, because he also, as I mentioned in our Batman Forever episode, tried to design the Batmobile, and it was like an abortion on wheels.
It looked really quite organic, didn't it?
Yeah, I hated it.
Oh my God. I've just looked it up. Fucking hell.
Show you such.
That's horrible.
Yeah. Here's another factoid. My brother came home from the cinema one day and went, I just saw a teaser trailer for Alien 3, and I was like, shit, tell me, what happens?
How thick was his tail? Because I'm prepared to sue.
It was the, I don't know if you've seen it on YouTube, it's on Earth. Everyone will hear you scream is what the teaser trailer was.
Yeah.
Oh. It was the planet Earth. And the Earth cracked open like egg.
Which is nothing to do with the film.
Bell.
No.
Yeah. But yeah.
What if Earth was an egg? Alien 3. Goodbye.
Ripley, Hicks, and Newt and Bishop are all on the ship, and then there's an alert, a fire goes off, and then they're all shot out in the escape pod thing.
I feel like that's a bad design thing, as in,
there's
a fire on the ship, let's eject our passage into space. Surely there's like a better way around that.
What if you snuck in there to have a sneaky cigarette?
Have a vape in the corner and suddenly you've lost half your crew.
Suddenly you're getting bummed by the cast of Tenko, which this film is full of, by the way.
Yeah.
I bet you, if you were a TV agent in 1992, whoever this was, you'd be like, what do you mean they're not... None of them are available. Well, sorry, everyone, there's no series of The Bill this year, because they're all in Alien 3. So the pod crash lands on a planet called Fury 161.
They introduce what could be a clever concept, which isn't really realised. It's a penal colony for double Y prisoners. Basically,
That's my first question.
2 Y chromosomes.
What does that mean, Dean, in brain terms?
That's a thing. That's a real thing. Sometimes males are born with not XY, but XYY chromosomes. They tend to be a fair bit more aggressive than the average, a fair bit more sensitive to testosterone. And yes, they are, shall we say, overrepresented in the prison population for reasons we can probably assume. It basically we got a lot of bald northerners.
Yeah,
which isn't which isn't something XYY does.
We're tough on the causes of Pete weight, and the toughest children's presenter on this planet is the YY bird. If you ask me why one more time, I'll rip your fucking head off. So the ship is salvaged, and Ripley is the only survivor. We get Mr. Rottweiler, Brian Glover himself.
I play Superintendent Andrews, who's in charge of the Wayland-Yutani Work Correctional Unit on Fury 161.
He does a daily rumour control meeting.
Exactly. And today's rumour control is, right, now then, someone said they saw me rubbing one out, right, and he didn't, right? That was a spider had gone down my trousers. You've all heard the Billy Connolly bit. That's what happened. Turned up that happened. Bye.
So a spaceship's crashed, 1 survivor, 2 dead, and a smashed up droid, he says. Yeah. He says, the survivor is a woman. Everyone goes, ooh.
He didn't have to tell them that.
No point saying that. He says, I've requested a rescue team and they'll be here within the week. Clemens, Charles Dance, the doctor. He says, the woman will recover. And Andrew says, look, she's not to leave the infirmary.
She's not to leave the infirmary. And if she does, she's supposed to have an escort. And if there isn't an escort, she can't get mouthy with the prisoners. But if she does get mouthy with the prisoners, she has to take on a leadership role later on with an alien. And that shouldn't happen. But if it does, long story short, she's going to have to kill herself.
Ripley wakes up with Clemens trying to give her an injection.
The first thing that happens is she says, "What are you injecting me with?" And he just goes, "A cocktail of my own mix." No, mate.
Yeah.
What are you injecting me with, you knobhead?
Tizer.
And what I've done is, you know the thing where you go to the cinema and you have a squirt of each drink? That's what I'm putting in you now, love.
The Goldie Weaver's got this, though, right? She's
Oh,
great.
yeah. She got paid a lot of money to do this as well, especially shaving her head and all that.
Yeah, that was a big marketing thing, wasn't it? Like the whole thing of she shaves her head.
The shot of the mirror where she wipes the mirror and she's got no hair. Yeah. So she's shown around the crash ship and she notices the acid on the cryo tube. So she says, "Oh, you're going to need to perform an autopsy." Meanwhile, prisoner finds the dog. Now, I meant to mention earlier, the dog found a facehugger. Yeah. Now, I want to know about the dog. Where's this dog come from?
It's earlier on, but yeah.
No, I mean...
Like, how they got it, I don't know.
Why is there a dog in space?
Yeah, where's the other... Because you can't...
The dog, weirdly, also is a rapist.
Yeah.
And
it's a dog jail.
It's a double Y chromosome dog.
Yeah. I love this question when he goes, "Who would do such a thing to a dog?" And I'm like, mate, you're in a prison full of murderers. Yeah. Charles Dance does the autopsy, which is horrific.
Again, it's Newt. We know this character. We've I can see why people in 1992 weren't a big fan of this.
No. She lies and says it could be cholera. And he checks and says, no, she's definitely drowned.
Now, this did bother me, because couldn't she have cholera and also have drowned?
Yeah, that's true.
And still be infectious?
And that's where we meet Aaron, which is Ralph Brown.
There's the thing, this film is full of people who, when you look at the IMDb, I reckon almost is them, but because everyone in this is a born English person. And
I'm sorry, but what this film is, effectively, is a big lambing lorry turned up to a field full of actors from Britain and just grabbed them all and thrown them in and driven them to this set. Because it's everybody from things.
Richard E. Grant got away.
All he's telling us is saying, keep away from these guys. They are bad.
Yeah.
And, can't really argue that.
In the words of Richard Pryor in Superman 3,
they have robbers and rapists who rape robbers. Mr. Gormley.
Yeah. But she gives the snarky, "Oh, so it's for my safety, is it?" And he's like,
Yes.
Yeah. That's a pretty valid concern right now.
The funeral happens because she wants them to burn the bodies just in case they've got an alien in them. And Brian Glover does the very Church of England reading.
Please be seated.
And then Dylan, who's like the leader of all the prisoners, he comes out and gives a very sort of...
Hallelujah!
A more impassioned speech about the innocent always falling victim and all this sort of thing. Juxtaposed with that is the dog who is called Spike. Spike! From Heidi High. The dog's freaking out. And we know why, but obviously the dog doesn't, because he hasn't seen Alien. But it does lie down and spits out an alien out of his tummy.
Yeah. This one comes out looking weird, considering he's bigger. He comes out looking absolutely knackered, because usually the alien chest bursters come out, and they're like little come-out farmers going, "Come on, Hen!" But this one, it looks knackered. It's like, genuinely, do you ever see that? This one looks like he'd been on a piss with George Clooney the night before.
Ripley has shaved her head now. She has a shower, and then she joins the prisoners for lunch.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
No, I think she's really pushing it to you, isn't she? She does. Yeah.
Well, she wants to thank Dylan for the speech at Newt's funeral. But I think a letter would have been fine.
Yeah.
Clemens asks why the bodies are cremated. She still won't say, but they end up making love.
Yeah.
Well, she asks him, he's asking her a bunch of personal questions, and she's like, "Yeah, I could answer, or I can't."
Yeah, fair play.
Meanwhile, a prisoner is Christopher Fairbanks, so it's the man who owned the dog. He's cleaning a tunnel when he finds an alien skin, and then he thinks it's his dog in the tunnel.
I got a note, yeah.
Go on.
He doesn't know his dog very well. If he looks down a hole and goes, "Oh, I finally found the dog. He's shiny and looks like a cock."
Now, this feels personal because the alien has taken out his dog and him. Clemens tells Ripley that a prisoner has died, and when he goes to have a look at it, he notices also that there is an acid burn in there. So he tells Ripley. But just before she can tell him, Andrews calls him in. So he goes to see Andrews, he sits down, and Brian Glover says, "Now listen here, you piece of shit." Which I enjoyed. Greatly missed.
Where did he pass?
97.
97. So he says that the company want Ripley and consider her a high priority. So I've written here, Ripley finds the damaged bishop, and I thought, well, which prisoner's got him? Could be any of them. But then is attacked. Dylan comes out and hits them all with an iron bar, rescues her. The only other film I've seen him in is a film called Nick of Time. Has anyone seen that?
I have seen that. Christopher Walken with Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
He's in a few things. Charles S. Dutton was in. He was in Distinguished Gentleman, the Eddie Murphy thing.
Yeah.
And
Time to Kill.
Time to Kill.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, that's worth seeing.
No.
And oh god, what was the other big one? Oh, Mimic. He was in the Del Toro movie.
Yes, I've
wasn't he?
seen that. Yeah, the big cockroach thing.
Yeah, he was in quite a lot of things on this period, and then that was it.
Some prisoners, meanwhile, two of them, and Paul McGann, who's called Golic, they're doing some menial tasks, and they find the alien.
Right. What are they? This is what. This seems. What are they doing? Their job is lighting candles so they can see the tunnel. This is. I don't get the tunnels become so important in the third act, and I haven't got a fucking clue what they are or what they're for. Or sometimes they're electrified, and sometimes they're not. Sometimes like, oh, we haven't got electric. What about that? Or that? I don't know what that runs on. Looks like fucking electric by you, right?
Like again, I'm with on this one. Like these tunnels play such a pivotal role in the plot, but functionally they make absolutely no sense whatsoever.
And really, the last half hour is exhausting because it's essentially the same 4 shots of this bloody tunnel, which I can see. It's a weird thing of like, I look at them, I go, that was expensive to build. Do they look good? Not really.
But the Steadicam's good, though.
Yeah, and it's fine the first 8 times,
Yeah.
I think it's a very common shot then, isn't it?
There's a lot of scenes where interchangeable men are getting killed, and I don't care about any of them. We haven't had any backstory. They're even more disposable than characters in a slasher, in a teen slasher movie, really.
Yeah.
It's so dark I can't tell who it is anyway.
That's a point I had. I genuinely cannot tell who's who at this point. At the end, like they said, I know one of them survives, but who it is, compared to what's happened before, I don't know.
Ripley reactivates her bishop. He tells her that, there was a facehugger on the ship, and also, the company knew about it, and they're quite happy about it, that it infected you.
Anyway, bye.
Yeah, bye. See you later. Golic is brought to the infirmary, which is Paul McGann, and he's saying that Dragon killed the other men, but obviously they think he did it because he's covered in their blood. Yeah, then Ripley goes to see Andrews and tells him about what they're dealing with. And then you get the line from the trailer, which is, "This is a maximum security prison and you have no weapons of any kind?" Well, yeah, because, I mean, quite rightly, as he says, this is a prison. Probably shouldn't have machine guns lying about. I like it when they did the video games of this film, they just completely ignored that. It's just you running around with machine guns.
Yeah.
I actually had the Bishop action figure from the Alien 3, which was, he was bald with sunglasses and metal straps on his head, and he had the minigun from Predator. Not Predator.
Wow.
Yeah, Predator.
What?
Yeah.
Well, I'd have watched the shit out of that film.
They're unstoppable, but we're gonna stop them anyway.
So Ripley is told to go and stay in the infirmary. And then again, and then Clemens says to her, "Look, you know what? The ship's coming for you," which is a bit unusual. And then she starts developing a sore throat and a cough. So the alien comes in and kills Clemens immediately for no reason.
Yeah. I'd say like, the alien is really quite plot relevant here, isn't it? It's,
This would be like if you had a rat or a spider in your house and the spider was just trying to kill everyone rather than making webs.
Yeah.
Or eating flies.
This a wanker, this alien.
Yeah. It's like a Freddy Krueger type alien, isn't it?
And again, I think this alien is, the idea is great, but they cannot do the execution of it.
But what's the idea?
I mean, it's a different type of, it's a dog. That's the idea.
Dog.
It's a different type of alien. It runs quick, but they haven't got the technology to, as it were, pull it off.
What's happened is, they gone, what are we going to do for our next alien film? And somebody's like turned on CITV and it's like Rude Dog with the Dweebs. And they're like, hey, you're going to think I'm mad for saying this, but what if our alien was cool and had friends who were dogs?
And drove a Cadillac round.
What if you drove a Cadillac in space and was a cool dog?
I love it.
And like, it's better than Vincent Ward's better than like, oh, what if it was a monk in space? Shut up, Vince.
Yeah.
We're doing a cool dog and a car bit.
So Clemens is dead by Charles Dance. And Paul McGann sees the dragon and gets all freaked out. And then in this cut, you never see Paul McGann again.
Yeah.
But in the other one, obviously, I told you about.
Yeah.
I've had friends say, in fact, we saw you in one scene and then you kind of disappear, you know. nobody knows quite where you disappear to, which is a bit of a mistake.
Yeah. So Ripley rushes to the cafeteria to warn everybody, just as Brian Glover's doing another rumour control. Now there's a rumour of a giant alien coming along, killing people. Alien comes down and kills him, and everyone's like, well, he's not lying, is he? I'd say it's less of a rumour, more of a fact. I like the joke of the guy mopping the blood under where Brian Glover's taken and trying not to get underneath.
Why did they make him do that?
It's very Terry Gilliam, that joke. I really like it.
I know, but makes no sense to make him do that at all.
Now, Ripley has an idea. She proposes they pour flammable toxic waste into the vent system, light it on fire and flush the alien out, then trap it in the toxic waste area, which is... the doors are so thick there's no way out.
By what you just said.
This is where Dan's points come to the fore.
Oh, God.
How does that work in terms of everyone else being able to breathe at any point ever?
We have no sense of the topography of it. Like, all we see is... Because the thing is, we also know they've only built one bleeding tunnel and they're just running up and down it pretending it's different tunnels.
Yeah. The alien kills someone as he's laying out this explosive stuff. He drops the detonator, but the way it's edited, it looks like everybody who's watching it fall in supreme slow motion. Yeah. But they're all normal motion, so it's really weird.
It's really weird.
Yeah. But it does take out quite a few prisoners. Ripley begins to feel really ill, so she says to Aaron, can you help me get to the escape pod and use a scanner? So they go there, and we see that she has got an alien queen growing inside her.
How does she know that?
It looks like Brian May.
Yeah.
It's got a big...
Yeah. But she wants to send a message saying the planet's toxic. But he doesn't want to send a message because he wants to go home, quite rightly. So she says, right, well, I'm going to go and find it. She suddenly goes, it's in the basement. And I'd be like, how do you know that?
No, but she says metaphorically, which makes less sense.
But then she goes to the basement. He goes, fucking hell.
Exactly. Yeah.
So. She goes down there and she says, you've been in my life so long, I can't remember anything else. And then hits a pipe that's full of cockroaches, thinking it's his head.
Now, actually, this is a couple of things, right? This scene, I don't know if it's... When I first watched it on VHS, this scene's really dark. It's like you couldn't quite make out that it was a pipe and not an alien. Now, I don't know if it's a restoration, but it's really bright down there. She'd be like, you've been in my life so... Oh, hang on, you're a pipe, you are.
I forgot to mention the important scene, the trailer scene, which this is an echo of.
Oh, of course, yes.
When the alien goes face to face with her, but does not attack her.
Yes, that's literally a meme now, isn't it?
It is a meme.
Yeah. Do you hear the producer said, oh, don't bother, it won't be important, that shot. And it literally became the poster.
It's the only thing people remember from this film, I think.
I think so.
Which people have done with a stapler and...
Yeah,
all sorts,
Yeah, he literally shot... Everyone was on a lunch break. He grabbed the front of the alien head, Sigourney Weaver, and a camera and said, right, we're doing this quick.
Oh, thank God. It's a great shot. But it won't kill her. So she goes back to... This is really weird edit here. It cuts as if the alien's about to attack her. And then Dylan, not Bob Dylan, walks into an office and she's sat there and she goes, it won't kill me, so you'll have to do it. He's like, what do you mean? The alien, it won't kill me. Yeah, well, you'll have to do it. Why do I have to do it? Why don't you just jump in the fucking furnace? But he says, all right, I will do it. He goes to swing an axe at her but misses on purpose and says, but you got to help me, you help us kill it first.
None of this... But at this point, they know the evac team's coming. It's like, I tell you what, let's go in. Why don't we go in the furnace that's blocked off that he can't get in? We'll take sandwiches and we'll wait this out until the police turn up.
They reveal to the prisoners that they're going to come up with a plan to kill the alien. They're all like, nah, no, we're not doing this. Aaron says, well, the company are coming. They'll save us. And she says, they won't. They think we're crud. They don't give a fuck about one friend of yours that's died. Not one.
What's it? Crud?
Crud and then fuck.
Tone this down. And then it says... it's a really weird juxtaposition.
And then Dylan says, you're all going to die. The only question is how you check out. On your feet or on your knees begging.
Instead of that, as I say, we've got Lilton sandwiches. It's been a while. It'd be like, they're literally going to be here in 28 minutes. It's quicker. It's literally quicker for us to not do the plan.
I really hate this idea, though, that the army want it. Why the fuck would we want that? It's like if the army we're going to go to Africa, India, and catch a tiger. And then during a war, we're just going to throw it on the battlefield.
Yeah, do you know what? We give a tiger a machine gun and it went really bad.
I was going to say, I'd understand it if it was like the black goo, because I reckon the army could develop that sort of thing as like a weapon, but a literal alien, no. So then Dylan comes up with they come up with a plan. So they're going to lure. He says we trap it here first. Then you pull the lever to start the piston. Then
What's the bloody piston?
I don't understand this. The piston's going to push the motherfucker into the mould. Then one of the guys is going to pour the lead, and the end of his ass.
I don't get it. I don't get the mechanics of this.
But also, it begs the question as of this piston. Presumably, it's all about the melt of the lead process. So, I guess this is where all the ore is pushed into the melting pit or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay, I'll take that. Why has this thing got why is it so long? It seems like 3 miles long. And why has it got so many doors? Why do you have doors?
No, it doesn't make sense.
Logical sense.
There should be 2 tunnels at most. The bait and chase plan, they call it, starts, and it basically kills off all of the prisoners apart from Dylan and Morse. They had to reshoot the ending.
Which bit? All of it? The chase?
All of it, because Terminator 2 had just come out, and it was basically the same.
Oh, what we're going to do is we're going to reshoot it and make it fucking shit so they can't sue us.
Let's cut the long story short. Dylan traps it in the foundry. The lead comes in, the molten lead, and they're all like, yay! And then the alien leaps out, and Ripley's able to spray water all over it, which causes it to explode.
Would that work, Dean?
Yeah. Yes, that's the rapid cooling of
yes.
Really hot things.
But my thinking is the water's not going to be that cold because it's in a fucking foundry.
Valid.
It's not going to be so cold that it's such a shock to it.
It doesn't have to be that hot. It has to be like room temperature. The sudden shift. It's like having the bends with temperature. Just suddenly, it's the change, the speed of it. It's actually the problem.
I like the way they've gone. Are you interested in? It's like they're tapping again. Are you interested in seeing computer graphics? Wow. When the alien's head cracks, we're going to do it with CG.
But it's going to be really quick because Dave did it, and Dave is bad.
He did it on MS Paint. But you're up against, like I mentioned, Terminator 2 just come out, where it had very impressive. Anyway, it's fine. Yeah, the alien explodes, and then the company turn up. This confuses me because this Bishop,
Bishop 2.
They're trying. Well, I don't know, because is he an android?
Right, I looked this up. So apparently the canon is that he isn't. He's a human.
What I would say, if that's the case, if this Bishop fella is a human, then the makeup team have done something fucking weird. Because when he gets hit with the spanner, he's fucking half his head's hanging off.
Is it now?
His ears literally 4 feet across his face, hanging off, and that suggests to me in movie language, I am android because I'm not feeling pain because half my head's come off.
Yeah.
They say to her at first that we're not going to try and save it, we're going to kill it, but she don't believe him.
And she says, what guarantees have I got that you'll destroy it? And he goes, you'll just have to trust me. Well, don't say that. Say something like, I'll tell you what, you can do it yourself, love.
Yeah.
You can what? I'll give you a bat and you can smash bits out of it.
Hand her a suitcase and say, here's loads of money. When she opens it, there's loads of gas in there.
Yeah.
But she doesn't. She jumps into the molten lava, like at the end of Terminator 2. But just as she's falling, the Queen alien comes out.
Yeah, but it's a small one this time, not like the dog. It's a proper sort of like
it's got a big head. One. So she's dead, and then also Aaron died because he hit Bishop with a wrench.
Yeah,
he did his own Cluedo there.
I like that character. It's gutted.
He's got a wife and kid.
All the fun he's got a wife and kid. He keeps bringing them up.
But Morse survived. Out of everybody on the entire prison, Morse survived.
No. A lot of people die for no reason.
I thought that, yeah.
You could say that she stopped an alien and a Queen alien escaping that planet. I'd say that's quite a big achievement.
Yeah, but she could have jumped in the lava earlier. She could have been the first thing she did. He goes, I'll tell you what, Charles Dance, you fancy a quickie, I've got to do something in 10 minutes.
Why don't you make me another cocktail that's full of cyanide?
Yeah, exactly.
The name's Poochie D, and I rock the telly. I'm half Joe Camel and a third Bonzarelli. I'm the Kung Fu hippie from Gangster City. I'm a rapping